working. Let's go, baby! Bomb arrows to the rescue. Ha! No way! Ah! No! Oh, that assist, baby! No! Don't touch him. No! You... What did I do? That was an accident. Freaking beetle. I got the triple collapse! Oh! Ah! Oh, Danielle, go to the fire thing. It teleports us.
I am on mini back.
I trusted you! Trombone. This one is trombone. Yo, I got it! Yes! Let's go! Yeah! 24 hours done. 24 hours finished.
Oh, time to beat 23 hours, 28 minutes.
Oh my god! We did it! We did it! Oh my god! I couldn't have done it without you guys.
What the fuck up? Holy shit!
Wait, it went through? I gave him $50. Hey! Hello there. Hello there. How are ya? I am doing great. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I found some new music on found some new music on Spotify by accident. Some Japanese music. Sounds nice. So I might play it for beginning of stream. Glad to hear you're doing good though. Also, I don't know if we're gonna do GTA next month. I'm thinking of doing something else, like maybe music. Still unsure yet. I've been editing the Pokemon video a lot today, so I gotta finish that up. Nah, I'm probably not gonna do Genshin. Yeah, no Genshin, sorry. I was thinking music though. Trying to make a viral music video, or trying to make a viral song in 1 month. How do you think that sounds? That sounds kind of cool, right? Why'd you put exclamation point question next to exclamation point? Impossible? You think so? Well, that's the fun part. I don't know if we'll do it next month, but I definitely want to do that sometime. So I was thinking for next month to do music. I would just have to figure out how to set up the music so you guys could hear it on stream and so that it could actually record. What's up, Timmy? I was just talking about how I wasn't I'm not sure if I'm gonna do GTA next month. I feel like it's easier to get a viral music song as opposed to like getting whitelisted or whatever for GTA. Plus, you were telling me how GTA with Spring Break, there's gonna be a lot of kids or like a lot of people trying to get it. So, you know what I mean? I was like, doesn't sound too good then. But how you doing, Timmy? Obviously, March 1st, you guys will see what's happening, but I'm not sure yet what to do for that stuff. We'll get straight into the run, though, today. I pressed the wrong goddamn button. There we go. My power runs out this month, so I won't be able to help you whenever you play next. Gotcha. Well, the thing is, what? I didn't save it. The priority is like... I just discovered the song like 10 minutes ago. It sounds nice. You guys like it? I like it. The thing is, just to... I want to... I don't know. Bro, I'm pressing F1. Oh, it just took forever to load. But yeah, I just think it would be too much of it would just be too hard. Not too hard. That's what she said. Well, too hard also, but I don't know. I don't know yet. We might end up doing GTA. I have no idea. These are all songs from the same artist. Yeah. I feel like Yesik is here every time I see that emote. But Jessique doesn't poop in anymore. Sag. Let's see if I could do this. Okay, I did not do it. I figured it would be bad, but I tried it anyway. I don't know this song. I mean, I just heard it one time. I heard like 30 seconds of the song, and I was like, you know what? I want to hear the whole thing during stream, I guess. So for this first run, it'll just be playing. But yeah, the Pokemon Gaia video will come out soon. Hopefully this Friday. It will come out this Friday. I'm going to stay up all night tonight working on it. Jesus. Let's go. Then I got to stay up for 4 nights for like 6 hours a night working on a Mario video. And then music. That's assuming that we get sub 20 in the next like 6 days, which is crazy. I gotta get 3.5 minutes faster essentially in like 3 days, in like 5 days. I don't know, before the end of the month, before the month ends. I'm getting Black Air Focus Energy soon. What is that? Black Air Forces are that's shoes, right? I don't know what you said though. The song sounds nice. I think the next one is an opening from Tokyo Revengers. That might have been fine. I don't know. That is good? Yeah. If that wasn't good, I don't know what would be. You don't know the meme? The Black Air Forces meme, yeah. But Black Air Focus Energy? I don't know that meme, no. Bro, I don't know many memes, alright? My meme game is weak now. I don't spend time on that crap. I learned memes from you, from TikToks you sent, pretty much. Ow. Oh my god, it's Streamlabs. I'm getting Air Force energy. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Gomenasai. I don't know. Why it's putting it together. Huh? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't care. I just want to smell your underwear. What? Kind of sussy baka. Yo, this song sounds mad. Nice. Come on. This is actually good. Let's go. Hey, what's up, Dino? How you doing? Yo. Oi. You finished Horizon yet? You're broken because you finished Horizon? Why, what's up? You guys heard Elder Scrolls is... Elder Scrolls? Elder Ring. Elder Ring. The song sounds mad nice. Elder Ring is, got 10 out of 10 everywhere and everyone's going crazy. And I'm just like, I don't care. But any of you guys trying to get it? Nah, not even close. Ending Ring is apparently amazing, yeah. Who gives a shit about that stupid game? Some of you guys do. Ending Ring. Nah, yeah, it seems like it got 10 out of 10 reviews by a lot of people. But they have Insta-Horse. Bro, I'm an Insta-buy. They got Insta-Horse. I love how your like concentration on these games is like, do they have Insta-Horses and Insta-Transport or whatever? It's like funny to me. Yeah, this might be a good WF. Unless I screw up Owl. Ooh, that was good. Bro, I swear it's the best feature in a while. It definitely is nice, yeah. Maybe Discord, I sent pic. I'll check it out after the run. Yo, if we sub 20 today, I'm gifting 5 subs. Maybe even 10. You know why? Because I know we're not gonna. If we subbed, it would be awesome if I sub 20 a bit early. Because then I would have time to prepare for next month's. Oh my god. I barely made that. I'm gonna get the game one day. I'm not a big fan of Souls games. Yeah, me neither. That's why I don't care too much about it. ER. ER. What? Come here, penguin. We walk with the penguin. Let's go. It's getting lots of comparisons to Breath of the Wild and how it's innovated a lot of stuff from that game. Oh, that's cool. But it's not a Breath of the Wild type of game, right? From my understanding. Isn't it more like a Dark Souls game? That it's like way different. But I guess the movement around the world and stuff is what you're referring to. Yeah, I didn't really look into it. Oh yeah, this is the song from Tokyo Revengers. Yo. Oh. That was crazy. Yeah, I gotta concentrate. Bruh. I'm so bad at this. Come on. Doctor. Yeah, do you guys think you could be as good as me? Huh? Huh? Because I know the answer, and it's no. Just kidding. Ah! Wait, how did you know what the question of the day was already? Did you test it out before stream? I took the risk. I have to. Good. Okay, I'm actually... Ah! I can't read chat now. And I'm playing like shit. Jesus. That is not what I meant to do, but we'll take it. It's more Breath of the Wild now, apparently, just with some of the difficulties of Souls games. Oh. You did check it out. Doctor probably could too. I could. Okay, bye. The thing is ignoring me. What's ignoring you? What are you talking about? Are you trying to say the N-word with all R's? With the hard R? Oh my god. What's Elden Ring? Because you spelled it wrong. Ah. No? What's ignoring you? I'm so confused. Check the picture after run? I will. I don't know. Some big game. Yeah. No, I just don't know. Oh, you actually don't know what it is? Oh. It's like, it's a game that got 10 out of 10 on IGN and a bunch of people and like harsh critics. It's just an amazing game that's about to come out. That's like Dark Souls. No, you can't, Dino. Do it or do it. Do it or no balls. Nah, probably. You guys probably can, sure. You know, maybe you know Ellen Ring. It's Ellen Page. Oh no, it's Elliot Page now, right? Wait, is that the right person? I don't remember. Come on. Yes. I get that like 90% of the time nowadays, which is hella lit. All right, that was almost scary. How did we lose 30 seconds in BitDW? Jesus, I'm trash. Probably could if I devoted myself to it, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't either. This game is annoying. I don't know why I did this. No! This game's so stupid. It dropped to a 97 rating on PS5. Yeah. I literally give no shits about it. Like, my cousin messaged me today. He's like, yo, Elden Ring got 10 out of 10 on IGN. I don't care. My friend messaged me, yo, Elden Ring got 10 out of 10 on IGN. I'm like, I don't care. Okay, what the hell? Jesus, that was shit. My, who else? Someone else told me. My other friend was talking about Elden Ring. I was like, I don't care. It's like, I don't know, like, but I guess it's crazy that I got 100. I don't know, you know, I don't know. Just a bad run. Nice. Nice, Pink. Nice. Jesus. You never know if you like a game till you play it. Nah, I guess, but I mean, I played Dark Souls. I hated that game. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever buy a non-indie game, excluding Nintendo. They're also shit, at least compared to what I'm interested in. Yeah, like I don't care about. I'm interested in like. For me, it's like if I could play with other people and have fun, it's fun. Otherwise, I don't care too much. I mean, for stream, it's different. For stream, if you guys enjoy it, then it could make me enjoy it a bit as well. Or if there's hype around it, you know? So if there's a lot of people who want to see me play Elden Ring, I'd probably play it and enjoy it. And if I wouldn't enjoy it, then I really wouldn't like the game. I'll play it and tell y'all if it's good when I get it. Alright, but you like games that I don't like. You like a lot of RPG games, I feel like, so I think you would like it. Like you like Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, like type of games I personally don't really, but yeah. Like really, my enjoyment of games comes from playing with other people a lot of the times. That's why I loved Call of Duty when I was younger. And why I don't play it anymore. I used to love it with such a passion because I played with friends and it was fun and the competitive nature of it. But yeah. If I don't have that, it's not as fun. People be comparing it to Breath of the Wild. Oh yeah, Breath of the Wild is also a game I don't care. Like, it's a fun game, but nice. But it's not like like Breath of the Wild is overly overrated to me. But I know you and Diego love it. I mean, I don't think it's overly overrated. It's just not my style. I shouldn't say it's overly overrated. I can see why people like it a lot. What else could you ask of a game if it's not fun? Yeah, but yeah, but I get like for me the fun aspect of a game is playing with other people. Like any other like I don't know. Or if there's a challenge, I guess. No, it's mostly just playing with other people. But yeah. Too much water. What, Breath of the Wild has too much water? I don't know. Honestly, like if someone like you that doesn't like those kinds of games could say it's fun, why wouldn't others overrate it? But you see, I don't think I would play it if I wasn't streaming. I honestly found Genshin to be so much more fun than Breath of the Wild. Well, kind of. Actually, yeah, I really did enjoy Genshin. I mean, I enjoyed Breath of the Wild a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. I'm not too big of a gamer in general. Oh. Even though I game. I'm just playing worse and worse each goddamn split. You found it way more fun because it's multiplayer. Genshin Impact? Kinda, yeah. I mean, there's not a big... Most of the game is not really multiplayer. I found it more fun because I liked the art style a lot more. I really like anime style games. How they look. So that's okay. It's just a terrible run. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Jump King I liked. I Bro, I like everything, okay? I like everything. I like everything. I just don't like everything that much. uh I like talking, that's what I like. I like talking and improving in some skill. Cause it's way cleaner. I mean, Breath of the Wild is very much anime style, maybe a little toned down. It's a lot toned down in my eyes, and it doesn't look that good. I mean, like it. Some of the scenery looks nice. I'm not gonna lie, and I enjoyed that aspect of the game. But Genshin is very much anime style, and I really like that. I really like that. I really like that style. I mean, I like the style of anime, right? So yep. I don't know why I'm still doing this run. Well, I guess to practice BLJs, my BLJs are gonna suck. Are you serious? Bro, I'm done. It's a Chinese game anime. If Japanese, who cares who made it? It's I mean you're right, but but the Chinese game made it look more Japanese, which is funny. More anime. Kind of sad. I'm disappointed in Japan. Pick it up. I was thinking I was thinking today that instead of GTA for next month, to try to do music and try to make a hit song, or not a hit song. Try to make a song go viral on Spotify in a month. What do you guys think? Impossible, possible, really easy, really hard? I like the art style, but art doesn't make a game more fun in my opinion. Uh it do- it makes a big difference for me personally. Like Dark Souls, one of the reasons I just hated it is cuz it was such a dark atmosphere. The art style was very realistic looking and very like depressing. And I hated that. The reason why I love Pokemon games is because one reason is because it's so like nice to look at. I mean, it's like not the best like graphics wise, but in terms of art style, it's like happy, you know. Like I get influenced by I get influenced by the games I play and like the shows I watch and the movies I watch. Like it affects my psyche or whatever. So when I played Dark Souls for 10 hours straight on stream a long time ago, that was probably worse than any 24-hour stream I've done because it's just so depressing and goddamn depressing. Like that's just the only word I could use. That's why I haven't really cared about Elden Rings. It doesn't look like a game I would want to play. What? What just happened? That's never happened, I feel like. Did you guys see that? What? The game just glitched. I hate this game so much. I actually hate it. Okay, we're already like doing so bad. I don't even give a shit anymore. My music, I've been summoned. Oh, is this a song that you showed me the other day? This is on Spotify playing right now. Welcome back, bro. Even if you succeed, I don't see how that would be good content for stream a month. Really? I feel like that would be so much more interesting than watching me do BLJs every day. But you know, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't think about it too much, so. Well, we would make music together. Uh, I'll read chat in a moment. I guess it does give off a depressing art style, which is what they were aiming for. Yeah, like I understand that's what they're aiming for. That's why I'm just like, it's just not a game for me, you know? I I don't want to feel depressed when I'm trying to play a game, right? Games are escape from realities, right? Are ways to have fun or whatever. Why would I want to play something that depresses me and like makes me think of death and like I don't know. And it's a single player game, so
Jelly bean time.
you and the goddamn jelly beans, bro. And I missed. Wouldn't 90% of it just be trying to advertise it? Maybe. You think so? Honestly, I think the hardest part will be making the song. Or like making, what if I try to make like a bunch of different songs? Like 5 different songs, you know? Okay. Nice ping. Might as well eat the jelly bean. It's hard to see progression if you make music every day. Is it? Maybe. I guess that's kind of true. Also, Souls games are multiplayer in a way. Are they? What's up, Angel? I don't know. I think music would be cooler. Or not cooler, but like, would be a cool thing to try. Maybe not for a month, yeah? Maybe less than a month? Oh. Oh, did you know same thing I said when you play that game after Breath of the Wild? If there's no obvious progression, it's really hard to be interested. I don't know what I was doing. I guess that makes sense, yeah. You guys make a good point. Well, the progression would be actually making the song. Writing the lyrics or whatever. And then getting more views on Spotify or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if it's good for a whole month, if anything.
Monkey do bad. Monkey do very bad.
Tastes nasty. I spend most of my time upgrading my server. Oh, okay. Well, why is your server still shit then? Just kidding. I don't even know how your server looks. But the thing with GTA, right? Nice ping. The thing with GTA is like, I was thinking for like, I don't know, GTA trying to get like, what's the progression with GTA? You know, I don't know. Trying to get on NoPixel or whatever, but then I don't see trying to become more well known in the GTA area, but that's I don't know. I'm just putting bots in and stuff like that. Want to join? Nope. Which server? What type of server? Minecraft server? Discord server? What type of server are you talking about? Progression in GTA has become famous for doing absurd things. It's not. Yeah, is it really progression though, or for like the? I feel like for the person that just comes to GTA, like a random person, right? Like me, if I just started playing GTA right now, I don't know if there's Jesus, a clear progression thing. Discord? Nah, honestly, I joined so many people's Discords and I'm never on them. I don't want to join another. I'll join if you want me to, but I'm probably not going to be very active in it, to be honest. They usually die. People usually don't do anything on their own Discords, so. But you can invite me if you want. That's also why I wasn't a fan of GTA. Maybe I just don't care for that type of content, but I feel like it's only good for streamers you already know and like. The thing is that there are definitely people who've become known streaming GTA, no? But like from my understanding, it's much harder to do that now because like everyone's trying to do that, right? What am I doing?
Monkey do bad. Monkey do very bad.
I just need some people to join. It's just some friends in there and soon to be girlfriend in there too. Okay, you could invite me. True Doctor makes style at least for new viewers. Honestly, I'd say try 112% Hollow Knight. I like the challenge stuff. Like I like this Mario challenge or whatever. But to be honest, like at the end of the day, I wanna play with other people. I wanna have fun with other streamers, and I want you guys to have fun and new people to have fun watching that, you know? Like that's the type of content I want to make, mostly. Or things that I could like. I mean, challenges are definitely part of this type of content I want to make too, but I don't think it's the main part, if that makes sense. But I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Just invite. Oh, I have to check out what Nathan sent me. It was supposed to be after this run, but let's be honest, the run is dead. I'm getting Air Force Energy. Why it's putting it together. Oh. Your spacebar doesn't work? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know why that... I don't know why. Obviously, see if you enjoy the game first, but that could be good if you do. My favorite GTA streamer started as a GTA speedrunner and did GTA 5 random facts. Yeah, that sounds like a smart way to get started. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know, exactly how to go about stuff. But I said take a month break and look for new goals. Try GTA and other games. That might be a good idea. Yeah. That might be a great idea, actually. Just trying out a bunch of different games, you know? This is good practice. This saves me 20 seconds, so if I have to perfect it eventually anyway. Oh my god, are we gonna get sub an hour? Make music for a week too. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do these month-long challenges if I'm not even sure if I want to do them. You guys make good points. Definitely makes sense. The thing is, like, I don't know. I'm starting an anime reactions channel, right? I just wish one of these things could like do really like well enough so I could kind of move out and support myself, so I could feel more comfortable just chilling. Like, I mean, I am chilling, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Decide what you want to do, or else you'll give up like you do with your bad Mario runs. Hey, I didn't give up on this run. Yeah. Expectation. Let's go. I don't want to take like 10 tries. Expectations are what having expectations not meet up with reality, or or not having like good expectations for things definitely screws up the perception of it, right? When I say I upgraded my server, I even made some emotes in my server. Cool. Cool. What type of emotes? Expect XX stations. Are the same songs playing? Because it feels like it. Should I just get a real? Oh, I thought I finished. I forgot I have to throw him 3 times. Should I just get a real job, guys? And then stream much less often and do stuff much less often? So I don't need to think about that so often. Nice throw ping. Just invite you and you can see. Okay. XXX Temptation. I miss Ja. You miss Ja, not her? Come on. Let's go. It's all Spotify music right now. But it's music that I just got into today. Nice ping. I met her because of Ja Mama. Chemistry, she said my music is so loud. What? Bro, just move on. Maybe I'm getting older. Nice. But I don't care about so much in life nowadays. Not like I used to when I was in high school or college. When I was in high school and college, oh my god, this girl, I have a crush on her. Blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit about that stuff anymore. Like, for myself. For you guys, that's, you know, that's cool. But, yeah. I don't think I'll be missing anyone for a while. In terms of, like, a girl. I'll be missing you guys if you guys leave me. But yeah. I don't know. I love how he kicks. It looks so funny. Let's go. So we're clear. I don't miss anyone. I just love that joke. Okay. I actually thought sometimes I think you actually, I don't know, man. Sometimes I actually think you're like talking about someone specifically. But okay. Yeah. お願いします。お願いします。Bro, I'm so bad at this game. He almost fell. Bro, how does he survive when he falls? I don't Can someone explain that to me? I don't get it. Yo, sub 40, let's go. Last time I got a sub 40 was like 3 weeks ago. But I mean, I was going for that trick, so. Yo, that was crazy. How about trying to do 30 collab streams in a month? Does that sound like a cool idea, guys? I feel like that would be a cool YouTube video. Kimi to natsu no wari shourai no yume, yeah. Gonna keep Spotify music for a bit. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Kimi to natsu no wari shourai no yume. That idea sounds impossible to organize. Well, the tricky thing there is that 30 collabs in 30 days doesn't mean 31 each day, right? So I could do like 3 collabs on one day. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too hard to organize, but I'm gonna go into a cauldron, so I'm gonna lurk for 30 minutes. Okay, see you. Thanks for the lurk. I don't know what that means exactly, but okay. Well, I really wanna know. I don't know. I don't know anything, bro. I don't know how people know. I feel like so many people are so. Oh, I forgot to check out your Discord thing. Let me check it out real quick. Not of my own. I want it all. Sped people. Okay. Not a bad idea, but I think you would need some plan. Oh yeah. I don't. It doesn't need to be long beforehand, but yeah, going into it on day one without anything seems tough. Yeah, I have on my board though 3, 6, 9, 12. Over. I have like 20 people on my. Jesus, actually 20 people on my whiteboard that I could collab with right now. I ate the jelly bean, Nathan. I'm not eating another one. That shit is nasty. Just because you weren't here for it doesn't mean I didn't eat it.
Jelly bean time.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, any month-long thing, I'm not gonna go into it without preparation. For just the Super Mario runs, I had to prepare like this whole setup. I prepared like a week or two in advance. Which is why I guess I'm kind of panicking now. Because I'm not prepared for next week. Oh, it's just so nasty. Oh, wait. It's so disgusting. You know how many jelly beans I've eaten so far? This past year? I looked at the Discord. It doesn't put it all together anymore. There's spaces now, Nathan. On my side, at least. I don't know if it puts still all together for you, but yeah. Unless you send another thing on Discord. Yeah. Do you still have that problem, or is it good now? Yeah. Still have it? Oh, that. Maybe your spacebar is broken? Or something? Or your space is broken on your phone if you're on phone? Oh, this is so nasty. I can't even drink water because I have to concentrate on the run. But yeah, I don't know how people are so... Nice ping. You still adding things to it? Okay. Alright. Yeah, I don't know how people are so... I don't know. I'll be honest. Every now and then, I start to think, what am I doing with my life? And relative to like streaming and YouTube. Especially when I feel like I don't have a clear plan. And then it's just like, I don't know. I just overthink that for a while. That's a little bit of how I feel right now. I'm resetting. I might just go to Pokemon. I'm not feeling too good about this today. That being said, I should be feeling fine about it because... Did I not press it? Oh my god. I should be feeling fine about it because I gotta get sub 20 before the end of the month. Oh, I'm an alien. Giving up so soon? Nah, not yet. I thought you were lurking. Nah, I'm not gonna give up. But, and that's a but with 2 T's, I don't know. I feel like I give myself these big, grandiose ideas, and then I don't follow through with them. Like, I originally, I'm gonna message Mythgif every day, but then I realized that was, like, probably annoying him more than anything else, so I stopped it. It's just, I don't foresee, like, the things that will happen, but that's all of us, right? When you think of something, you don't necessarily know what's gonna happen in the future. My expectations are too high with certain things, sometimes, I feel. There you go. Now you're properly lurking. Thanks for the lurk. Pepe D. Pepe D's nuts. Omega lol. I don't know how that worked, but I'll take it. To make a man, deserve a license for a gun. Plus, I was editing today. I guess that's depressing. Editing. Editing is depressing, guys. Don't ever do it unless it's your dream job. Then edit for me. Nice jump, Pink. Be yourself, no matter what they say. That's right, be yourself. Unless you're in Nazi Germany and you're Jewish, then you might want to be careful about being yourself. You know, then it's a bit dangerous. I'm an alien. I'm legal alien. Say less. How much will I get paid? Yeah, but you gotta take it seriously, bro. Nah, I got 2 editors right now. I can't afford a third. You'll get paid $1 for every 10 videos that you edit, as long as they're fascinatingly edited. I stream too, you know. Yeah. That doesn't mean you're gonna edit seriously, but okay. Fine, $1 every video. That's terrible. Never accept that if someone says that to you, okay? Unless you don't care about the money aspect of it. No, I'm not. I was just joking. I'm not really looking for an editor right now. I guess unless you can edit TikToks and YouTube shorts. If you can edit TikTok shorts like really well, then that would be cool. But I was going to say, yeah. No, I can't afford any of that. I can barely afford what I'm paying for now. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I can barely afford it, it's that I won't be able to afford it if things stay the same way as they are. But it's fine. It's not the only one. Everyone is so untrue. And you have seen what I can do, right? Yeah, you might understand the TikTok game much better than me. I don't understand it at all. Maybe I'll ask you in the future then. Right now I can't unless you would want to do it for free. Yeah, I don't know. I spend a lot of time putting up like YouTube shorts and TikToks and stuff, but I don't spend a lot of time actually editing them. So, yeah, that could be a thing. Ugh. I think 30 collabs for the month could be really cool. Is someone to believe. Honestly, what the hell was that? Jump! Jesus. I don't care. I'll do it for free just as long as it makes my daddy happy. Aww. That's so sweet. Okay. I try to put up like 20 TikToks and YouTube shorts a day. Actually, the past few days I haven't put up any after I've gotten 1,000 subs. Oh, I forgot it's the owl. Wait, how's it the owl? Huh? Did I miss the star? I forgot to do the side star, didn't I? Bruh. Until the bitter end. But on God, I will though. All right. I gotta think about this. I didn't expect that to happen today. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. The owl just wasted my time. I wasted my time by screwing up, but I thought I went for this. I guess it was the last run. Child labor, pretty much, but I mean, he's okay with it. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm adult labor if you think about it. You know how much I make, guys? I've actually done the math. I make about $1 an hour streaming. And with the time I spend outside of stream, pretty much I make 50 cents an hour streaming. So, yeah. But listen, it's voluntary, so. Yeah, exactly. He's doing it on his own will. Just like I'm streaming on my own will. One might say, but streaming is easy. Yeah, aspects of it, definitely. I mean, it is, kind of, but it isn't at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. You gotta be talking 24/7, you know? I'm gonna finish my server. Aight, cool. I guess I'll hit you up about TikToks. But I'm probably gonna dial it down to like 2 TikToks and shorts a day. Just because I don't think. Well, it depends on how much content I feel like I have to make TikToks of. Oh my god. So, yeah. That's not how the law works. Doesn't matter if you want to do it. Of course, it's not a legal contract, so it's not technically illegal. Bro, how about streaming, doctor? I have a legal contract with Twitch to be an affiliate streamer. I don't get paid minimum wage. There's 6 million other people just like me that don't get paid minimum wage. That get paid less than minimum wage. But that's not illegal. Right? I don't think it is. I don't know. I think I don't know. Doing things that you want to do, even if it's a service for another person. Like, I don't know, you're a mod for this channel. You know? Technically, right? Technically, you kind of have a job, right? But I'm not paying you. Is that child labor? I know you were kind of trolling by saying it, or I assume you were. But a lot of things are murky. And a lot of things people do, they just want to do it, you know? Even though the benefits aren't really. The benefits are not always financial, I guess. Or sometimes it's the desire is to make it financial, right? Like with investing, with Twitch for a lot of people. Oh, actually, I've been getting that a lot more often lately. Which is good. Because it saves some time. What's your point? I'm talking about child labor laws, not unpaid labor. You make a good point. Bro, I think I'm gonna stop doing the stairs trick because I just suck ass at it. And I waste so much time. Actually, I pay you to do your job. You do. I thought you were lurking, bro. Okay, done. Yeah. Yeah, but you gotta remember, doctor. You have to be 13, I think, legally, to stream on Twitch. Right? 13 or older. Probably not making much money. So is that child labor? You're providing a service for no money. Is that child labor? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, doctor. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I honestly don't know. I don't know. You do pay me to do my job though, Dino. I don't know if this is a job. I'm trying to make it a job. I guess it's a job? I don't know, man. I don't know many things. Child labor has nothing to do with how much money you get. Okay, so is it wrong that Twitch allows 13-year-olds to stream? In New York, if you're 14 or older, you could work a job. So is that wrong? Or would you argue that 14-year-olds are not children? At what age is a person not a child? Is it adolescence? Is it 13 and older? Because 13 's adolescence. Maybe 12. I don't know. I don't know. I know how to say I don't know. That's all I know. Oh my god, I thought I missed that. That was a weird angle. I just found the cauldron that makes giant giraffe robots. That sounds cool. Crazy cool. Giant giraffe robots. You can get paid $1,000 an hour. It's still child labor. Okay. Depends on the state. Usually 14-ish by law. Yeah. So is that child labor? Would you consider that child labor? Good thing I'm 14. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you consider that? What is your moral ethics with that? Jesus, I don't know how I screwed that up. But it could have been worse. What are your personal moral ethics on that, doctor? I didn't know you have to be 13. I could have been banned. I think it's 13. I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, a lot of people who are younger than 13 stream, right? On YouTube also. Creating content does not apply. Why? Why does creating content not apply? Why does creating content for another person? Like, what's the difference there? If you're of your own will, creating content for other people, why is that bad? And why is creating content for yourself good? Unless the other person is like saying, how could you have done this so bad? You know? You think? I think sometimes. I'm just kind of curious. I'm not talking about ethics. I'm talking about what it is and it isn't legal. You're acting like I'm making arbitrary lines. No. I'm asking what you think. I'm not concerned about the legal thing because, like, I don't know, that doesn't really matter. Like, should people be able to, like, legally, a lot of things don't make sense. 18 years old to join the military, but 16 to drive, but, you know, but then that also differs depending on the country you're in. But, you know, you could drink when you're 21, but you could drink when you're 18 elsewhere, but your brain stops developing when you're 25, supposedly. So shouldn't you not do all these things until you're 25? Like smoking and like legally is not as interesting of a like question, really, in my opinion. I was just thinking what you think, because knowing how you guys think of that could like make me better understand it, I guess, or like make me just think of it differently, maybe even, you know. Potato. But yeah, sorry, not trying to argue with you at all, doctor. I'm just trying to like, I guess, I don't know. See what you think. Drink at 21, but join military at 18, but you can drink if you join the military at 18. Is that true? I wouldn't be surprised if that's true, but is that true? I feel like they probably don't care, but is it legal? I just said I don't care about legality, and now I'm asking if it's legal. But yeah, this wouldn't apply anyway, doctor, because I think... Because Angel is 14 anyway. I always go through the door. Can you, like, change the Why? Why does the camera... Bro, this... I gotta chill, bro. I gotta chill. I gotta chill. Nice. A good run. And I knock him through the door. Oh. That's my fault. It's my fault. I'm sure it is true in some states. You know it's not legal? I know some stuff that isn't legal, I guess, yeah. Sorry if if it feels like I'm being an asshole today. I don't know why. I'm just very cranky. It's probably because of what I said earlier. Just not knowing what to do for next month, I guess. Kind of making me cranky. Uh, from an ethical, you with some bitches. From an ethical standpoint, it's a large gray area that is situational. Yeah, probably. Ideally, no children are doing dangerous manual labor or any unpaid work at all. In the States, at least, yeah, probably. But then what about people who need to support their family? You can't ban that without making other situations. Yeah, that's the argument for people who... Like, it wasn't even that long ago. I don't know. I feel like my grandparents' generation, you know, was that generation where they had... My grandpa had a lot of siblings because a lot of them would die from, like, being sick and stuff. And because they needed people to make money for the family. I think. I could be way off on that. Definitely, they had a lot of kids, and a lot of them died from just sicknesses that could be solved easily in the States today, you know, or in, like, first world countries today. But, yeah, that's the big thing, right? Like, when you talk about other countries and child labor, it's like... It's like when they have to support their family, it's kind of hard to say, oh, just get rid of it, right? But I'm not even talking about that necessarily. I guess I should have specified more. I'm talking more so like people who, well, like this case right here. If Angel would want to do TikToks for me, would it be wrong for me to let him do that without paying him? If he's fine with that, and I'm fine with that, well, I would obviously be fine with that, but... Ooh, that was a decent bomb thing. That's kind of how maturity isn't an age, it's a way of being. Child labor and drinking depends on how they are. Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, like, to me, it's like, okay, if someone makes the argument that child labor is bad because they're children, and them being children, the bad part of it is that they can't think for themselves or something like that, then you have to bring maturity into it, right? Like, at what age can people make their own decisions? Because obviously we all lead different lives, right? Like someone that's living in a third world country or like a poor country or whatever, that's matured more than any of us here because of what they had to go through, let's say, right? Not saying that, not discounting what you guys have experienced or what I've experienced, but I think you guys know what I mean, right?
Bruh.
It is that person like, I don't know, it's just... I don't know what the argument would be there. Like, theoretically, it would make sense to just ban everything until people are 25. Because at 25, your brain doesn't develop as much or whatever. So, you know, you would be sure of what you're doing, right? Which means...
Wow.
Which means you wouldn't be allowed to, do, you know...
Monkey do
You
okay.
wouldn't allowed to smoke.
Monkey
you wouldn't be
do
allowed
pretty
to
okay.
do anything
guess.
until you're 25. But that's not how we do it.
Monkey do bad. Monkey do very bad.
Ethics are interesting, but they don't apply to real world situations. Sure. Yeah, but the law doesn't... Okay. So if you want to figure out how you view the world, right, then ethics could be important. If you want to figure out how reality is, then it doesn't really matter as much, right? But if you want to figure out what is right or wrong, what you believe to be right or wrong, like, ethics is important. Like, if you think about slavery, right? Most of us probably wouldn't have a second thought about slavery if we lived in the States when slavery was happening, before the Civil War, right? Because it's just something you live with. So then the question becomes, now everyone knows, oh, slavery is bad, slavery is wrong, whatever. But would you have ever thought that in the past if you didn't think about it? Probably not. So even though it was legal, slavery, you know, wasn't right. Like, in all honesty, eating meat is probably a shitty thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if 50 years from now or an X amount of years from now, people look back at our generation and say, wow, these people they're freaking assholes. They didn't care about animals at all. Like, these are other living beings, right? Like, I could see that argument, and I could understand that. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop eating meat, But it's like, that's not a legal thing. It's still interesting to consider, though, to better understand what I personally think is right or wrong and why, right? Otherwise, I just think that the world is how it is because of how, like, the laws are presented or whatever. This is not school? All right, well, I like talking about this stuff, Angel. I'm sorry. I'm not saying use the law, but saying what should be the case and what changes can actually be made to do good. I'm not saying use the law, but saying what should be the case and what changes can... I'm not understanding that. It's annoying, so leave, Angel. If it's annoying, leave. I'm talking about it. I'm sorry. I like talking about it from time to time. Just life and stuff. Okay? I apologize. You leave. I forgot to finish it. That wasn't a complete sentence. Don't try to. Yeah, sorry. I got a bit confused. Sweet little angel. What do you want me to talk about, Angel? I've been playing this game, and it's literally the same thing over and over. I can't. There's nothing to talk about in it anymore. Like, I've fallen in every way that I could fall. I've screwed up in every way I could screw up. I've improved in every way that I can improve for now. I definitely could improve in a lot of, but for the most part, it's just trying to get good runs right now. Unless you want to talk about, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? Oh, finish it, doctor, finish it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very flip-floppity when it comes to this topic, to be honest, doctor, and others. Like, sometimes I find it interesting to talk about, like, ethics or whatever, this type of stuff. But then sometimes I'm just like, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh my god, we got raided! Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Thank you. You get to use the raid emote. Whose emote is that? Vitru Tatarara. I don't know who that is. Anyway, I wasn't trying to say follow the law. I was saying when you ask what should be allowed, there are always two answers. What should be is the case under a perfect system. What changes should and could be made under the system. Sure. But talking about... It's not even... So I used to think along the line... And this might not be what you're saying. I might be misunderstanding. But I used to think along the lines of like, what's the point of like complaining about stuff or like thinking about these types of stuff? Just make a change and actually do it, right? But the longer that I go on with life or whatever, I realize that like a lot of change comes through discussion. And yeah, I feel like sometimes that discussion is worth having. Because how people think affects what is, how things are and how the laws are. There's a reason why nowadays everyone would be like, gay marriage, of course people could get married in the States, and why it was such a big political topic in the past, and why so many people were talking about it, and like, it's the result of how life is changing, like different, all of these things, but it's also a result of how people think about it. It all goes together, but my point being, like, I just think it's interesting to have these conversations. I don't know. Sometimes. Sometimes it's annoying. or sometimes, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Gotta go. All right. See you, Dino. Linda's? It was the person I tried to sub to. Give me a second. Love. Wait. Just one way. It was the person I tried to make you raid, but he said nah, because she had sub only. Yeah, F that person. Why would you have sub only, chat, when you're a small streamer? Like, I feel like that's the stupidest thing. Like, you can't be any more obvious that you want people to subscribe to you to talk to you. Jesus. Especially as a whammon. You could take... Wow. I was doing so well. That would have literally been a golden split. And I screwed it up. Baby, I love your way. Okay, still could have been worse, so that's okay. I wasn't trying to say follow the law. I was saying when you ask what should be allowed, there are always two answers. Ah, okay. You were just playing devil's advocate and showing that like there's more than one answer to it. The case under a perfect and what changes should and could be made under the system. Okay. Yeah. I mean I agree with that. Sorry, I like certain things I have to process in my brain and I'm trying to concentrate on the game also a little bit. I mean, like, okay, I don't care if people put sub only chat, Angel. Like, I don't care if they want to do it, like, whatever, do what you want to do. But I don't care for a person that does that. Or, like, I don't care. Like, why would I rate someone that I can't even talk to? Like, I'm not going to pay money just to talk to you. So, that's why I just didn't want to rate her. Listen, if it works for her and for her community, it is what it is. And I just lost the run with this. Dick. Nice. Ooh, that was actually not bad. I don't know. I kind of saved it. Me. Smiles and smiles she gives to me, please. It's alright, she says it's alright. Take anything you want from me. Oh my god, bro. I don't know why I'm screwing it up so much today. Fly on a little wing. I got a long jump here. Oh! Oh! I almost pressed the wrong button. Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad. That would have been pretty bad. Not insanely bad. Nice, Pink. Nice. Imagine I died there. Couldn't be me. Little I actually liked it when we had kind of different streams every day. Like one day we would do I get slapped in the face, GeoGuessr. Like that type of stuff was pretty fun. So maybe I'll try to do that again next month and get my editor to edit those types of videos and see how that turns out. Because I feel like that's more fun. And if I don't have to edit it, then it's easier to do as well. She had so much soul, she said, excuse me. And then from time to time, I'll do these like big challenges. Like trying to beat this game in 20 minutes. Or whatever, you know? That might be good. I just have to think of a bunch of decent ideas. Which is fine. Because I gotta work, bro. I gotta do the grind. Why am I screwing up this jump so much today? Not even today, just lately. I've been screwing it up so much. I hate this game sometimes. Oops. It's like the run was going so well, and then I went from minus 42 to minus 24, then minus 10, then minus like 4, and now it's gonna be like plus like 40. And because I'm a human, I'm gonna see the negative plus 40, and it's gonna affect me more than the positive. Jesus. I was gonna say you could do something like 30 days, 30 challenges. Yeah, that would be cool. They don't have to be crazy stuff or a new game every time, but something like that could be good for progression within each stream. It would be separate progressions. They don't all have to be crazy stuff or a new game every time. Oh, I see what you mean. So like within one game, a different challenge every day. So like let's say Call of Duty, trying to get first place. Nice pink. Trying to get first place playing like with my eyes blindfolded or something. Single stream narratives rather than month-long progression. Yeah, I kind of like the month-long progression. To be I changed my mind so fast. Like last month I was so hyped. I was like, we're going to do this for a month and we're going to do this for the next month. We're going to do this for the next. And now I'm just like, I don't know what to do for next month. And and when I think about the YouTube videos, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to keep putting up reaction videos because that's not what most of the streams are anyway. So, yeah. I think the problem with having that, I mean, I could have the same game for the whole month and then do different challenges throughout the month, right? But the problem with that is then people will come only for that. Come. Nice. People will come only for that. Jesus. People will come only for that game, and then when I stop playing that game, and also on YouTube, I would be building an audience just for that game, and then when I change games, it would just like switch things up. So, I don't know. But maybe. I think it's good too, but it could be helpful to get you to try a lot of things. Find something you want to do for a longer period of time. True. You are not wrong. Nothing from nothing leads nothing. Like when we were doing tier lists at the beginning of streams, that was pretty cool. But I mean, that was the same. It was always tier lists. I think probably the best time was when we would do like GeoGuessr one day, tier list another day. We had that going for a short amount of time. The hardest part about that is just coming up with new ideas, but that's something I should work on. Or I could do what you said and go for single game ideas. Your Highness. Yeah, what's gonna happen with Mario in a couple of days anyway? At least on stream, you just gotta bring them in with your charm. Yeah, I that is true. The thing is with the Mario thing, I wanna end up. No, you're right. I want to make up. I found in my head that I'll make these like amazing, amazing like videos like. To edit on a separate channel and stuff that would just be, you know, crazy challenges or just crazy stuff. Because I know that would do well, and I think that would be really cool anyway. Jesus, how bad can I be? God damn. That's it, I screwed up. It's okay, I'm gonna do better next run, I think. Yep, I'm late. But the problem with that is like it's just I tried to do that with Pokemon Nuzlocke videos. I was like, okay, I'm gonna heavily edit it. I feel like it's gonna be pretty good. You know, it's interesting, whatever. And I don't know, I'm just not good at it. I'm not good at editing. I don't know how to tell a story. No, are you kidding me? Oh my god, bro. Jesus Christ. That was so lucky. Yeah. No, you're right. I think I have to go back to doing like starting off each stream with something that could be cool for YouTube and then going to like a game but I don't know. Or maybe I'll just have short streams. I don't know. Jesus, I almost died. And I died. Like I could still have cool videos without spending a month on a challenge. Like dyeing my hair is a cool video. And I spend one day on that. So, you know. I don't know. Come on, grab his sexy tail. Grab it. But thanks for trying to help me figure it out. I do appreciate that. Every run so far today, I mean, we've only been streaming for an hour, but so far every run, it starts off, well, the past 2 runs have started off really well, and then I just suck ass. I don't literally suck ass, but I might as well be. Oh. Oh. We got it. To receive loving. The thing is, I feel like I know what I could do for a long time. I feel like if I were to stream with other streamers and we're doing these like these collab streams are fun for me. I don't know. I feel like I could play Call of Duty for a long time, to be honest. It just it's a scary thing to get into. I guess making the challenges on Call of Duty could be interesting. I don't know. My brain is so all over the place all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time it's like, oh my god. What the hell was that? That was like the fastest shit ever. Did you just see that? If I get that again, that's this is gonna be gold. This has to be gold if I get it that fast again. It is gold. That was insane. It's not a PB, but that was insane. Cracked. Yeah. You know what's crazy? If I didn't screw up on Bowser there, because Bowser, what did I screw up? Bowser and HMC I screwed up on, right? If I didn't screw up on those, I could have had like an insane PB right now. Assuming that I don't screw up on this part. But that's good news. I think when I'm more calm, I play better. So yeah. We're going to try this thing. I'm kind of happy I'm having bad runs cuz I could try this thing more often. And I'll try it on a real run, hopefully, you know? Let's go. The funny thing is, with Pokemon, believe it or not, with Pokemon Arceus, I was getting a lot of like it was doing better. Pokemon Arceus was doing better than this game on YouTube Shorts, which makes sense, right? It just came out more recently. So I probably could have gone into the Pokemon Arceus game. But I decided to do this, and I don't regret it. This is actually, it's worth it. And it'll be even more worth it once I get sub 20. I love how you said cracked, and then I just failed at this. You get me hypnotized in your smile. Yeah. I feel like I've tried so many things already, though. But I haven't. Let's take the stairs. If we can. Cracked. Cracked. I'm cracked, guys. I'm cracked. Affection. Come on. Okay. That felt good, but it evidently was not. That was not good either. Well, we'll get to see what the BLJs will make our new BPT at, so that's cool. Ooh, I screwed that up more than I thought I did. Enough to mess with me. Let's go. Yesterday. And the bleep blue sea. Let's go. Yes! I was only like 4 tries this time, so I'll take it. I'm getting slightly better at it. I still don't think I'll use it on a real run though. Oh, my sweet angel, fly on through the sky. Fly on my... I get to practice Bowser throws too, so it's not a... You know, it's worth it. And just grabbing his goddamn tail too, apparently. Let's go. Let's go. I tried to do the grab. Ooh, that worked. The old trickaroo. The grab-a-aroo. I love how the Bowser throws are actually good now. It's so funny. I mean, our latest PB was with good Bowser throws, so. Let's go! Cracked, baby. Cracked. Sunrise. Ugh. Oh, that's stinky. Excuse me. All right, let's see. 2044. We saved 1 second with BLJs, I think. Or 1 point something seconds. We're gonna rise. Knock under yonder. Yeah, you know what? I think next month that's the plan. I'm not stressed anymore, doctor. And I thank you. You and Dino. You guys gave me, and Nathan for saying dick, and Angel. You guys gave me good ideas. I think I'm gonna go back to the idea of trying to get daily stuff in. Maybe I'll get a 3rd editor too. Oh, that seems really crazy. Maybe I try to get anime reactions popping off before getting a 3rd editor. Oh god. But yeah, I think doing stream ideas of like starting off stream doing just like GeoGuessr, but I get slapped, like cool stuff like that. You know, I laugh, I lose, or I eat hot sauce or whatever. Let me reset that because I don't know what I was doing. I think stuff like that could be cool. Dino's pretty inspiring. We need mods like him in the world. Don't worry. 1st of the month. It'll be cool for an announcement on the thing also. Yeah. He'll probably join the ranks. I gotta fix the mod application too. So it's out of 5 people. At the best of me. There's so much to learn and what we want. I'll be honest, this is what I want. This is what I think would be cool. Starting stream, talking to people, chilling with you guys. So there's that interactiveness. Then doing something for YouTube. Nice Pink. Then doing something for YouTube. So like you know, one of those ideas I mentioned before, like GeoGuessr or whatever. Then doing collabs with streamers, just so there's something new for you guys and something new for me, and so I could kind of maybe grow on Twitch also. And maybe find someone cool that streams around the same time as me, and that, you know, we play the same type of game, and that we somehow grow together and become like pros in a game, or I don't know. What are you changing? I didn't hear. I was saying, I think next month, instead of doing like a challenge for the entire month, I think I might change to what I was trying to do before, which is have streams. Oh, for mod apps. Oh. I was like, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm still not 100% sure. Mod apps. Oh, mod apps. I didn't say. For mod apps, I think I will. Well, I said 5 people. I think I'll have it at a max of 5 mods. Because we don't need so many mods now anyway. I think a max of 5 mods until we reach a average viewership of, I don't know, 25 or something. We'll see. So I want to do that. Ooh, this is gonna be good. That was actually perfect. This is actually gonna be a gold. This is gonna be a gold split. We already got 2 gold splits today. Let's go. Let's go. Anyway, I got way too excited for that. It was like a 0.1 or something. Yeah. So maxing it out at 5, and then also having it so you can't be unmodded unless you're not. I have it currently at 3 months if you're not active for 3 months, but I don't want to unmod Diego. So I'll be honest. So maybe I'll just take that rule completely out and just say that I don't know, that it'll be 5 months or something. Because like people have their own lives, right? Like sometimes people like Dinell wasn't watching for quite some time, and he was watching for quite some time. Then he wasn't watching for quite some time, and then he's watching now again for quite some time. So like it goes on and off because people have their own lives, own things to do, you know? I change up what games I'm playing. That affects how people decide stuff. So I don't want to make it super duper strict, you know? So I might change it to 6 months. And also Dick. Nathan, did they grade your art project yet? Did I forget to go for the... I forgot to go for the side star again. I don't know why I'm doing it in this order. Okay, I'm gonna have to go for the side star next. Yeah? Ooh, what'd you get? To be with you. Yeah, I don't know if it's good to necessarily have strict rules for stuff like that, except for like super crossing the line. It's always going to be super situational. You're right. Imagine I did it that quick. That was an accident. 5 out of 15? No, why? I feel like you spent so much time on it. That sucks. Like, that sucks. Like, I feel bad for you. Not that sucks. I mean, that does suck. 5 out of 15 does suck, but damn. Yeah, you're right, doctor. The thing about having strict rules is that it gives people an understanding, right? So if someone does something and I'm like, oh, I don't know if you could be a mod if you do that. Like if someone's striving to be mod. But then they're like, yeah, but one of your mods did that. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know. But you're right. I think you're right. With the mods we have, like, no joke, the mods we have now, I am happy with. Like, I like Nathan, Doctor, Diego. I like all you guys, you know? I really like Blaster also. I wish Blaster was around more. I guess, like, yeah. But you see, it would be weird for Blaster to still be, and Yesik was okay. But it would be weird for Blaster to still be a mod when he's like barely here. You know what I mean? It would just feel weird on my conscience. Like there are people who actually want to be mod that are active and that are like good or whatever. And if they're not mod because someone else is taking that spot and they're not here, like I don't like that. So I do think a strict thing of an X amount of months could be good, but I might want to lower it to like or like increase it to like 6 months or something, not to like not leave it at 3 months, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. I did, but I did not use all the elements of art. Elements of art design are the worst. What are all the elements of art? You didn't follow the rules, basically. Gotcha. School, a lot of school is just about following rules so you could follow your boss when you have a job. That's what it feels like school is. Especially nowadays when you could literally learn whatever you want online. But you know, maybe I wouldn't be thinking like that if I was homeschooled, so who knows? Who knows? And also it's to socialize, obviously. It's so I can understand that. What's up, Timmy? How you doing? Yo, 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 yo. The run's gonna be so good until I screw it up. 'Cause that's how all my runs go. And I don't know why I'm talking like this. Timmy boy is back. There we go. If you love me like you say. Oh, gold? Gold? No. I was like 1 second off gold. Say, baby, when you do me like you do. Elements of design for photography. Who asked for photography? Read the room, doctor. I actually took a photography class in high school. I don't remember anything. Elements of design for photography are line, shape, form, texture, form, value, and space. Probably similar for other kinds of art, but I don't know them. Oh. I did form twice. And I didn't even realize you did form twice until you pointed it out, to be honest. Okay. So far, so Gucci. Color is the other one. That makes sense. It's funny because X amount of years ago, color wouldn't even be a factor. Because color wasn't part of photographs. Well, technically... Nice. Nice ping. Technically, black and white or like gray are colors, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Oh! I should have died there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I survived. I'll take it though. How can I look at you now? That's what they said in Hebrew in this song. So come right now. Say something to me, baby. Ah! Such a good run. Such a good run, bro. Such a good run. Ruined because I'm a dumbass. But you know what? That's the point. I gotta get better at movement or else I will never get sub 20. That is a fact. See, like, just getting that movement consistently now is sexy. Good try, good run, rip, though. Oh, run, rip. Yeah, I mean, technically, I could still PB, but at this point, I'm kind of thinking more on the lines of getting sub 20, I guess. I know I can't get it now, but obviously I want a PB, but we're getting close to the deadline, you know what I'm saying? I am not ready. I gotta go get dinner, BRB. Alright, cool. You're not gonna miss much. In terms of the gameplay. Let's go. I would... Why am I taking this route? Jesus, I was so scared I took the other round by accident. I was supposed to take the risk. That was good. I gotta do that more often. I have to be less scared of this area. This area actually is scary to me. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Ping Pong Mooster's here. Yo, 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 yo. Linear. Give me light, I think. Give me your tail. That's what you gotta give me. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, baby. I'm gonna skip this song. Too long. Ah! I didn't waste time there. Okay, good. Could still PB by 39 seconds. 59. I could PB by a whole minute, actually. If I get the last part. Good. Yo, here we go again. Harassing something. That's the words for this song. Yo, 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 I call the po-po because you are a big schmo. I don't know. Harassing this kid. The song's so deep, bro. First few times I heard it, I cried. And I don't cry. Yeah, I cry sometimes. I feel a little weird. Ow. Yeah, he's different. Yo. Yo. He's never done. I think the reason why these runs feel decent, as opposed to most of the time where I feel like I suck, is because I have a potential 20-second save in the last area. And that kind of like makes me feel like the run, like that I could PB, or even if I can't PB, that I could get a gold split that makes my best possible time really low. Okay, that was actually good. That was actually good. When you somehow that was still worse than I I thought that was pretty good, but apparently not good enough. So I don't remember the words to this. Ah! Tyler! I was just talking about you. I was talking about how like I goddamn like we were talking about mods and stuff. And I was like, ah! I was saying how I wish I didn't have to unmod like Blaster or I was like, but when you're not here too often. Welcome back, Dino. Look who's here. Look who's here, and he's very queer. Just kidding. I am back. Rip arse. Dick. Why you always say dick? Are you eating it? Are you smelling it? Are you thinking about it? Are you looking at? Well, I guess you are looking at it because my face is shaped like it. But Rip arse. Who's here? Arse is here. Well, he had the eyes. He had the eyes. I don't know if he's here anymore. Boop. He pauses. The song's about a class bully that gets bullied, and then the singer never like helps him out. The rapper, he's talking about how he never helps him out, and then the bully becomes a school shooter. And this is the best part. I said, "It's over, Andy. They're dead." He turned to me and said, you were the third on my list." Damn, because you could have helped me out and you didn't. Isn't that crazy? Yo, I got chills. What a beautiful song. What a beautiful song by an indie artist. I don't know if he's indie, but he's not Lil Wayne or Jay-Z. Okay? Okay, this is the type of rap I listen to. I listen to the good stuff. Anyway. Did you hear COD is stopping yearly releases? They are? Kind of about time. They probably didn't do well with Vanguard. If you look on Twitch on stream, more people stream Warzone than any COD game right now. Probably play also. And more people stream freaking Modern Warfare, which came out like 3 years ago at this point. Then, oh my god, then Vanguard. How did I miss that? Runs over. Surely because Microsoft bought Activision. Oh, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, about time. Now they can make other good games. Well, now they can make better Call of Duty games too, and give them the freedom they needed. Hell yeah, good shit, Microsoft. I own a Microsoft. I have Windows on my PC, Microsoft. I'm supporting you. But Bill Gates, I will never support. He caused COVID, according to my mother. Mother, I hope you're not watching. I'm sorry for telling everyone. Anyway. Let's go. What a bad run. That's hella awesome though. God damn it, Bill. Exactly. Exactly, bro. Exactly. How you doing, Tyler? Anything new? What other games do they have, do you know? That you're saying they can make other, or you're just saying like in general they can make other games? I don't know much about other Activision games, to be honest. It just says something I say now. It's just something I say now. You just say dick now? Okay. But why? Tony Hawk Pro Skater? Oh. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Wait, actually, didn't I do a Photoshop thing of all that? I should know what Activision has. They have Overwatch. Activision has Overwatch? That's right, they do. Wait, do they? I thought that was Blizzard. Or, oh, Activision bought Blizzard, right? I'm dumb. Oh my god, I'm 0.5 seconds faster. Wow. They have World at War? That's Call of Duty. Maybe I long jump that now. StarCraft? Who plays StarCraft? It's part of Blizzard, owned by Activision. Yeah. I forgot they bought them. They bought them like a few years ago at this point, no? I'll be standing on the soul, burning to the light. Yo, are you surprised, Tyler, that I'm actually decent at a video game? Well, I'm not decent yet, but look at these moves, bro. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I can't reach that. No. There we go. Oh, I made it. Okay, we're gonna actually save some time because of that, I think. Yeah? You meant WoW? Oh, that makes more sense. World of War? World of Warcraft? World of Warcraft? One of those. That's right. I forgot about all those games. Yeah, I got a pee-pee. Should I pee in my pants? Tyler says yes. Just kidding. Oh, I know you want me to. How do I have green health? Damn, I'm a beast. Yes! I grabbed his tail. But I can't throw him. That would have been a PB. That would have been a gold split. I literally can't. I can't get him first try. That's why I'm not gold splitting him. That's so frustrating. That's so sad. Imagine missing this. Couldn't be me, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Can you guys believe that I have to be 30 seconds? I have to be this good and beat the game. Like, by this time, I have to beat the game, I mean. And I'm, like, not even close right now. Well, I'm past my PB, but they can remake lots of old games because they have the studio Vicarious Visions. That's a team that remade Spyro and Crash. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Oh, I'm sure you're really excited then. I know you like a lot of the old games, Dino. No, I'm taking that. That's cool. So you're not gonna. I always do this wrong. It's okay though. Oh my god, my BLJs are actually sexy today. What the hell? They feel like, I don't know why they're so good. It makes no sense. I'm just happy they stopped becoming the Call of Duty machine. I actually love Call of Duty. I'm just happy that they're not doing yearly releases because that means each Call of Duty is probably going to be much better and they're going to support them for longer. I mean, they've been supporting the past Call of Duties for a while now, but the past few years, especially Warzone. Can you like jump like a normal child? Let's go. Do do boo. Do do do. Do do do. Let's go. I messed that up. I should long jump much more often. I missed. There we go. I should have backflipped. Why do I screw that up so much, bro? It actually... Why am I screwing up the triple jump so much? There we go. Zako. Definitely Zako. I mean, the run's over already. The only reason I'm continuing is to practice this part of the run, which I suck at now. But if I perfect this trick right here, Tyler, it's an advanced trick. If I perfect it... Not do that. If I perfect it, I could save 20 seconds, which is a lot. It's actually quite a bit at this point. Nice, perfect. Thanks. All right, you want to see me do it? If I get it right now, you got to sub. Just kidding. Okay, if I get it right now, I got to gift Tyler a sub. If I get it this next try. No, actually, no. I take it back. I told myself I would stop spending too much money on stream. With all these collab streams and gifting peeps subs. IQ minus. Oh, I got it! Third try. Last time was 4 tries. So that's pretty good. It's okay, he didn't hear me. There's there's an ad for him. It's okay, he didn't hear me. Oh my. Nice. Nice pink. Thank God this isn't an action. Thank God. I'm saying this as if it's the end of the world, but thankfully this isn't an actual good run, so doesn't matter that I fell too much. Saved by the ads. No, I'm joking. It says ads start in 3 minutes. So. Okay, if I get it twice in a row, which means if I get it right now, I will gift him a sub. Damn it. I actually kind of wanted to gift him a sub. Okay, if I get it right now, then that would be pretty cool. Not cool. Ooh, that was cool. Maybe I gotta start moving like that. Jump. Jump. What? How did that even happen? And I'm dead. I actually got a gold here, so let's just assume the run ended there. I gotta go pee. I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry. Bro, what the hell? I press my button to put an ad, and it doesn't put the ad. This ad starts in 38 seconds. What? This is the second time it's happening. Why? Let me see why. Run plugin will no longer communicate. What? Yeah, it should have worked. That's dumb. Mods can put mod comments on other mods. Really? That's kind of funny. I didn't know that. Best possible time. 2044. Okay, maybe I perfect bomb clip. I don't know. Should I practice bomb clip right now? Great, now the controller's not working. Mods can basically, like, if a mod times someone out, they can put a comment for why they timed them out and stuff like that. You'll learn soon if you become a mod. Let me just make this work. When I touch my penis, it is very, very soft. Let me connect the controller again. Excuse me. There we go. Ugh, I just burped and I burped the stupid ass jelly bean. Hay muchas preguntas, mamá. ¿Lo que pasó? ¿De cuántos funcionas, mamá? I thought penis was your word. Now you're saying cock? And I forgot to press start. It's interna. Nenas. Indígenas. Nerras. I don't know the words. I don't remember them. Tertas. Preguntas, hay muchas preguntas, mamá. ¿Qué pasó? Hace cantos mencionas, mamá, mamá. No, papa, only mama, mama. Sorry, I'm a bit too excited. Wow, 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 wow. Oh. ¿Qué pasó? Nada. Nada. Let's go. Lakitu. Lakitu, it's pretty poo. Really? I am poo. You. If I PB here, I will gift 100 subs. JK Rowling. JK Rowling. Sucks at bowling. I don't know. Nice ping. Nice ping. That actually wasn't too bad, to be honest. Because we got Lakitu, so. That shouldn't be too bad. Indigenas. Yo. I'm mad. I want to ride a Claw Strider. I don't know what that is, but the game won't let me. What's a Claw Strider? That sounds cool. Ow! Stupid ass wall. Nathan's cock distracted me. I got too excited. Not Nathan's cock. Nathan's saying cock. Jesus. He distracted me. Look it up, baby. I'll do it. I'll do it after this run. No, I meant. Don't cancel me. Don't add it as a quote. I actually, you know what I meant there. Dick. I'm actually hard now because you said dick, and I'm thinking about my step bro. You guys haven't met my stepbro, but he's mad hot. Maybe I gotta do this faster. Just assume that it's good instead of setting up for so long. Let's go. Gonna have to quote that. No. Don't do it. I hope you guys all have me on your speakers. And I hope you're watching with your wife. No one has a wife here. Chudo does, but Chudo's probably not here. Add quote dick. I don't think that's the. Okay. Interesting quote to add. Quote 273. Indígenas no creendas la públicas. No quotes added. Damn it, I still gotta fix that. Also, if you add a quote, it doesn't say no quote added. It's if you exclamation point quote. Interesting. We get what we deserve. And way down we go. And way down we go. You gotta check quote 144 probably for that. And way down we go. Bro, I'm stuck. That's what she said. We can put mod comments on Ping Pong. Wait, you could? That seems so stupid. But I do it. Maybe there's a good reason for it. For the fun. Yes. It's everyone now. On to the side. Oh, that was sexy. You see, I need my momentum to be that good. I need to be that good. I need to be moving like insanely fast. Way down we go. Way down we go. Way down we go. I forgot it was the owl. Say we want it down. Should I ground pound this? It saves a bit of time, but I never end up ground pounding it because it looks so scary. And I shouldn't have ground pounded. I don't know why I did that. At this point, if I screw up, I should just reset. Because it ruins the run. I've gotten to the point where screwing up once in a big way ruins the run. I mean, Owl, I guess, doesn't, but it gets pretty close. That was only plus 4 seconds. That's fine. Have you put a mod comment on me? I'll have to check that out. But yeah, we're gonna start doing that. I think. Down we go. We're gonna start March 1st, baby. We're gonna do we're gonna do that. Down we go. We're gonna do stuff. Down, went to the pie. Let's go. Oh! Jesus, I suck assholes. What was that? If I actually died there, I would have gone crazy. Let's go. Yeah, I gotta think of, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I gotta think of like 10, 15 ideas before March starts. So doing like GeoGuessr, and if I lose, my sister slaps me. We did that once. That was fun. Doing a you laugh, you lose, and if I lose, I eat hot sauce. That could be fun. Or I end stream or something crazy. You know, stuff that would be cool for YouTube, but would also just be fun for you guys. Troubles too. I don't need nobody. I guess playing trying to get a nuke in trying to get one person to subscribe to me on Call of Duty. I feel like that could be really funny and fun. I tried to do that in the past, but it kind of flopped as an idea. I got to think of small ideas that I think of sometimes I think of very big ideas. I got to think of like small ideas that are not too small. That are not too big, so I could do it during one stream, but are not too like boring or yeah, I don't know. I'm way I can. What am I doing? Jump! I missed it. All right, I'm gonna reset. I think I want to practice bomb clip though, because if I could get bomb clip many times in a row with Lakitu, I like bomb clip on its own saves like what 10 seconds or something. So I could save an additional 30 seconds. I could be so close to getting sub 20. So I think we're gonna go to that, which means you guys could put background music if you'd like. We're going to that part of the stream, baby. I still think I need a lot more practice with runs. We're probably gonna end up doing a 24-hour stream to get sub 20. Okay, I've done bomb clip before, so let's see if I could just do it, pretending like this is a run. Oopsies. Nice ping. Okay. I think what I could dick. Why do I keep ground pounding there? I think that's what I was supposed to do. What I was screwing up is that the first one you gotta... I always ground pound that. What the hell? The first one you gotta just click a little bit. There we go. Oh, I almost grabbed him. That's what she said. I'm so funny. Oh, he got hit by the thing. Ooh, that was lucky. Alright, let's practice here a bit. Okay. I can't even wall jump now. Jesus. Okay. I think I'll put it closer to like... that's not what I meant to do. I'll put it closer to like here. Nope. Huh. I forgot what I'm supposed to do here. To grab him. to grab him by the bomb. I'm supposed to turn around, but how quickly do I turn around for this? Like, I can't turn around right away. Then I hold nothing. There we go. Hey, I did it. Kinda. Okay. Come on. Let's go. I forgot to throw him. Come on. Oh, that was unlucky. The post actually screws it up. So I think I gotta do that. I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. I probably should just look it up. I want to get it once before looking it up though. I'm stubborn like that. Woohoo! Woohoo! Oh look, it's Zelda soundtrack. There we go. It's gonna explode. I don't know how to bring him back. I never saw the tutorial online for this. People have told me how to do it. Oh no, I have seen a tutorial, but I haven't seen the one that Barry mentioned last time to me. I think I saved it though. I bookmarked it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Lakitu, castle entrance to Bob movement. Oh, that could be important. Behind chain. Bomb clip. Starting. Easy alternative movement. Wait, what does he do? What's the difference here? Alternative ending cameras. Let's just watch this.
Welcome to my beginner tutorial on bomb clip. I will first show you how to do it in 4 steps, then do some troubleshooting with you, and then I will show you some useful backups and a few ways to optimize your movement for this star. Have fun! The 5 steps. Step 1. After grabbing the bomb, hold left and do a small jump. A small jump, just tap A. Step 2. Let's see what we want to do. Our next goal is to land here, a bit more back and left than the bomb. Because after we re-grab the bomb, we will get backwards momentum. So we want to grab the bomb at an angle that will push us towards the gate, in between the wall and the chain jump. To achieve this, after the first jump, once you land, you want to throw the bomb right on the jump. So press A and B right after each other. Hold A so you get a full jump and switch from left to a bit more up left on the analog stick. Step 3. The turnaround. And see right after each other.
I blanked out.
Right on the jump. So press jump. Once you land, jump. To achieve this, after the first jump, once you land, you want to throw the bomb right on the jump. So press A and B right after each other.
A, B.
Hold.
Wait, why are you whatting? I'm trying to learn a trick to clip through the bomb. But I'm too much of a dumbass. Oh my god, why is it so hard to do now? I did it! Watch, this is what I want to do consistently. I'll show you right now. I'm gonna get it right now. It's gonna be easy. Damn it! Nice, nice ping. I grabbed the bomb, I jumped, then I... Alright, let's just watch them.
A, so you get a full jump and switch from left to a bit more up left on the analog stick.
What are you, crazy? A bit more up left. You think
Step
I'm that
3,
smart?
the turnaround. If the
Let's try it. Let's try it. Oh, a little bit more left works. A little bit more left actually works. It's crazy. If you follow directions, you could learn things in life. Sometimes. I went the direct opposite way. Oh my god. Thought it works. What happened? Oh, I have to go all the way left, maybe. I have to just press my controller all the way. How do I go faster? I don't know how to do that faster. Watch the
First
rest of
3
this.
steps were done correctly, you will land here a bit more back and left than the bomb.
Let's go.
And you land a bit earlier than the bomb. That gives you some time to turn around. Make sure the stick is neutral
Yo.
when you land.
Yo.
Then do the
Make
following.
sure the stick is neutral
Tap
when you
down
land.
right to turn. Press B to grab.
Down right to turn. Down right to turn. I didn't do that. I don't know why. Nice. Nice, Ping. Nice. Bruh, tap down right to turn. I'm not even doing that. I just clipped through the bomb. I'm not getting it. See, I'm supposed to gain momentum when I get it. I don't like that guy's voice. Racist, bro.
And press C right to get B to grab.
I think it's okay, but
Tap
sorry,
down right
sorry
to
you have to deal with hearing it.
turn. Press B to grab. And press C right to get a good camera angle. Step 4, the final step already. We press C right on step 4, so now we have a good angle set up to clip through the gate. Tap down and go towards the gate, holding the stick neutral. Once you're close enough to the gate, press B to throw the bomb away, and it will push you back and you clip through the gate. And you're done. Once again, just for you in slow motion. Grab the bomb, hold straight left to a small jump and a big jump and a throw. Land up left of the bomb, turn around, grab it. Press C right and tap down, and then you just have to press B to clip. Now, trouble.
Press 0 right? What does that mean?
Grab it. Press C right and tap down.
Oh, press your right. Okay. If you guys could see what I'm doing wrong, you could let me know if you want. I know I feel like I'm not turning around fast enough, and I'm just doing everything wrong. But I don't know. Gotta grab it, bruh. Bruh, why is the background not the video? I actually hate this website. It's like stupid. Okay, there we go.
Tap down, and then you just.
This song feels very loud, but I don't know if it's very loud to you guys. I'm supposed to tap. Let's tap. We're gonna tap. Oh, the tap, the tap, the tap. It's not loud? Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. I'm starting to get it. I think. Oh, I got it. Okay. I got it. I got it twice in a row. Yeah, that was bad. Okay, that was bad, but I still got it, kinda. So that takes 9 seconds. Let's see how long it takes if I were to go for this. I want to see how much time I would save. Susume. Let's see how much time it saves. Damn, we're at 30. 20. Oh, it saves 10 seconds? 10 or 20 seconds. My math is bad. It definitely saves time, though, if I get it. That's nice. Alright. IQ, let's go! My IQ has been positive for some time. Thank you, guys. Watch, I'm gonna get it now. Watch. Don't IQ minus. Damn it. I kind of got that. Oh yeah, now I'm just screwing it up. Okay, I didn't tap there. I have to tap. Okay, I gotta tap more. I don't even feel like I need to tap really. But oh, I know why I screwed that up. I have to jump right after I land. I'm gonna have to throw him right after. Right as I land. I think. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, I gotta look up Claw Strider. You finally got to ride one? Let's go! Damn, that looks sick. That actually looks mad cool. That looks mad cool, I'm not gonna lie.
Have to press B.
I'm so impatient. I should watch the whole video, but I gotta tap. I gotta tap. I gotta tap out. Let's go. Okay. If this happened to me, I would just skip it and go for that. Okay. I'm not tapping. You could run one if you play her right. I got that. I figured that from what you said. But, you know. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it. Alright, next month might be experimentation month, so we'll see. That kind of worked, but not at all. Oh, that would have been so good if I did it more. I have to like jump, but not jump too high, but not jump too low. It's so like annoying. It's not so annoying. It's just like it's just hard for me. Bro, I want to be able to get this like 80% of the time, or at least like a good amount of the time, you know, before the end of the week. Because if I could get this and I get the bits thing, I think sub 20 is very possible. Obviously, I would have to do everything else that I can do now perfectly, but then it's just a matter of like more runs, which is fine.
Jelly bean time.
Bro, how... Maybe I'm gonna limit the amount of jelly beans you could do per stream. Let's see. Jelly bean time. Oh, I can't edit it here. You're lucky.
Triple bean threat.
Assholes. You guys are assholes. They're so nasty. Let me see. Let me see. Limits per stream. Let's go. I feel like 10. How many should I go? Triple bean thread is. How about only 3 times per stream? And then jelly bean 9 times. That's still a lot of times. Oh yeah, let me take off all the other rewards so you guys could use them. Where's the other jelly bean? Put that at 6. Still a lot of goddamn jelly beans, guys. My favorites are Tremor Tusk, Slitherfang, and Fire Claws. 20? What are you, crazy? It's pretty much unlimited. Oh, I got a blue. Brown, pink, and orange. They're nasty. It's not a good number, man. Why not 19 to give it sub 20? Good one. Oh, this is the elephant boy. Oh yeah, he looks mad hot actually. Ugh. Oh, I was looking at all of them, but I couldn't see them. Sorry. Tremor Tusk looks mad nice. That looks insane. This looks insane. That actually looks mad cool, I'm not gonna lie. They actually look mad cool. I was looking at all the stuff you told me to look at. Yeah, the one that I didn't show because I'm an idiot and I was on the wrong screen was I like the elephant one, the Tremor Tusk the most. They don't have the ugly boss machines and this are way more fun to fight. Cool. Ugh. How do I clip through it, bro? I messed up there. That was terrible. Okay, I have to listen to what the guy said. Jump, throw, grab. Yo, what's up, Chris? How you doing? Ugh. Those jelly beans weren't too bad, but I'm tired of having them in my mouth. You're in class? Nice. How's it going? This is nasty. Break time? Let's go. Hell yeah. Program, baby. I'm a moron. I would be one if we spelled it right. Why am I a moron, huh? Because I'm too smart for school. What are you up to? I'm trying to practice this. This trick could save me 10 to 20 seconds. But I'm really bad at it. Moan? Why do you want me to moan? I would never. Oh, because he's in class? Well, I don't think his teacher could hear me. See a black screen? Oh. Thank you for saying that. It's maybe what Dinell was referencing as well earlier. Whatever, we'll play it like this for now then. Thanks for saying that.
To clip. Now troubleshooting.
Stop. Louder, please. Why do you want me to moan? I don't want to moan. Bro, that's such a weird thing to request from me. I only want to moan when I moan accidentally. Okay? Chris, how's it going? Are you learning new things? Are you enjoying it? Bro, how do I gain more momentum for that? Let's watch this
If
video.
the bomb explodes without you grabbing it, you try to grab it too late. If the bomb is too small, you try to grab it too early. This is a chart by Ethan that shows the explosion frames. Ideally, you want to grab it on explosion frame 4. Sometimes Mario just won't clip. That means you had a bad angle with Mario, so you either messed up the camera or you didn't tap exactly down when approaching the gate. If you hit the chain jump or just go in the wrong direction after the regrab, that means your angle on the turnaround wasn't good. And that usually means that your landing position for the regrab wasn't good, and that's what led to the bad regrab angle. If the bomb flies too far, that can have two reasons. You either press B too late on the throw, or you didn't hold A long enough on the second jump. Now I have 3 useful backups for you. If the cam gets messed up, reset the cam, see left, see right, and your angle should be good again. If the bomb explodes, wall kick this wall and the bomb will respawn for you to try again. Now the camera and the bomb position will be different though, so only attempt this if you have some experience in bomb clip already. Or, if the bomb explodes, you might as well just ground pound the pole. It won't lose too much over attempting another bomb clip, especially if you fail that, and it's much easier. And for you who got the bomb clip down, I have 3 optimizations. 1. If you're running and you press B when the stick is neutral, Mario will punch. So you can grab the bomb at full speed, as long as you hold the stick neutral by punching.
Ooh.
2. Do a neutral jump.
Alright, I don't need to learn that yet. I suck. Fast starter? Alright, see ya. I'm not learning new things. I know all the basics. Oh, okay. I think I might practice it from here, though, because the bomb placement is different depending on when I get there. Damn it. Nice ping. Okay. Damn it. Bro. Okay. You jump. I forgot how to do it. I gotta do a small jump. There's like no momentum when I grab it. Let's go. Let's go. That worked. No. See, if I do it my own way. Oh, if I do it my own way, I actually do it pretty good. Sometimes. That was an accident. Like, I don't like doing it the way they tell me. I'm not like the other girls, you know? Like, look at that. Look how good that was. Look how quick that was. Look at that. Twice in a row. Okay, that was bad. I feel like I do it better my own way. Yo! Okay. Bro, am I not doing it like so much more consistently now? Okay, that was bad, but damn it. I don't know if there's a way to like make it faster when you already have the bomb, but maybe I jinxed it. I'm looking at game stats and I've been playing for 42 hours. Sheesh. And now I'm screwing it up. There we go. There we go. All right, let's try from here. I'm gonna do it my own way. Damn it! 意にできることはまだあるかい Come on. Oh. Let me try to get it like 70, like 80% of the time before starting from all the way here, maybe. I think I have to keep my momentum when I grab him. I think that's what I gotta do. And I think that's what will improve this. Come on. Damn it. The guy said a trick for keeping the
jump, and
momentum.
only while you can grab the bomb at full speed, as long as you hold the stick neutral by punching. B, when the stick is neutral, Mario will punch. So you can grab the bomb.
When the stick is neutral, Mario will punch. Oh, I knew that. Let's try it like that. Let's try to keep the momentum, because momentum is definitely what makes movement so much faster. Nice, nice ping. Ooh, that actually worked. I don't know what that was. Okay. I might try to do that, so that his momentum is still there from all these long jumps. Oh, let's go. 16 seconds, bro. This and Lakitu together could make for like and the bits thing. I'm actually getting it. Okay. I should have gone more to the corner there, but that was pretty good too. Kitakara kimi to many that was bad. That was the first screw up, like complete screw up. Well, I guess complete screw up would be falling or not even grabbing him. I need to kill koto wa mada aru kai boku ni dekiru koto wa mada aru kai. Yeah, that was bad. Come on, Pink. Come on, Pink. Damn it. Oh, I was doing so well. 54.25. Sheesh. To be fair, this month I've been streaming more than I have in a while. Okay, I am not doing well here. I need to keru koto wa mada aru kai boku ni dekiru koto wa mada aru kai.
Hello there.
Damn it. What's up, Nico? How you doing? Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning, man. Come on. Let's go. That was good. Yes, it's afternoon here. What time is it? No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm dumb. It's evening. I don't know. I don't know English. It's evening. It's nighttime. It's nighttime. I don't even know what it is, man. It's late. What time is it? It's 10:44. Yeah, it's nighttime. What you gonna eat for breakfast today, Nico? You don't know? Sheesh. Okay. What time do you get up? Oh, I'm tired of practicing this area. Let's practice the other area and then do a run. 9:44 a.m. Sheesh. You wake up kind of late. Imagine dying there. Couldn't be me. I should long jump this. I gotta learn to long jump that. Just keep long jumping. Even long jumping that could be good. What the hell? Oh my god, you gain so much momentum. Ooh, that's good. Time in Bangladesh. Ah, but what time do you wake up? 僕にできることはまだあるよ。Wake up on a Saturday night. I wake up 8:30 normally. Oh, you wake up late. Just kidding. I wake up like 11. I kind of miss the days where I used to wake up earlier. Why am I screwing this up? I know why. Nope, that's not why. 君とのラブストーリー、それは予想通り。君とのラブストーリー、それは予想通り。ななななななななな。I almost messed that up. それは予想通り。I don't remember the rest of the words. なななたって結局かけた。I'm sorry. That was actually really good. What the heck? つかないけど実はないんそう。Oh. もっと近う設定でもっと近う関係で世界線食べたらよかった。I really thought this was good. Is it because I'm not punching? Huh? I can wake up at 6 a.m., but everyone else sleeps in 7 a.m. Ah, gotcha. What do you do when you wake up? Ah! Not mean to do that. Oh, that felt so good. That's what she said. Nice, Pink. Nice. What was that? I was trying to find a faster way to get up there. Okay, I have to do this better. I have to figure out a way to move here. That would be bad. I could just watch someone do it, but that felt good actually. What if I just roll? Ooh, that could be really good. I come in, I do this. No. Wait. And then I roll. That actually feels so good. Yeah, I just gotta remember to do it. You're going to sleep? Alright, have a great night, Nathan. And Dick. Dick's out for Harambe. Why am I screwing this up? Because I am a screw up. Oh. Huh? It doesn't. Huh? Oh. Huh? That is kind of bad. Oh, I thought that was a perfect jump. Let's go. Oh, I tried to be slick there. Maybe I don't try to be slick there. Kimi to no love story, それは予想通り. Let's see. Yes! And then I'll just long jump these. And boom. Boom, there it is. And I would die. Sky Clan is super cool. Sky Clan? He's just trying to make me get the game. That would be so cool if I could do this. I gotta figure out how to do that better. They have some cool colors. Sky Clan. Are they in the sky? Oh my god, that was so lucky. Stupid game. Come on, I gotta get this first try more often. Oh yeah, up the future. Yes! I went to the side enough. That's why I got that. Damn it. I gotta go to the side enough. What the hell? Nice, nice ping. Let's go. What the hell? That felt good. That felt like perfect. Like I wouldn't screw it up. I'm tired of doing this part. I'm gonna save a little. I'm gonna save around here. There we go. Let me just do this first. Really? 私は7時に日が始めた。あ、覚えた？あ？ At 7 o'clock your day starts? Is that what you said? Nice, I think. My kanji sucks now. That looks like oboeru to memorize, but that wouldn't make sense. Let's go. Imagine that happening in a run. I gotta check out Sky Clan soon. I just want to get this consistently a few times. Looks cool, but are super slow. Oh, that's an awe. That's a Sag. My Hero Academy? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Oh, yeah. I think it was My Hero Academy, actually. Na, 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 na. That felt so good. Apparently when it feels mad good, it's not good. There we go. Whoo! They're slow, but they kill. Sheesh! That felt so good. Yes! Yes! Two ice in a row. Damn it. If I get it 3 times in a row, we'll do a run. Oh, you listen to the song 6 times? Lol. Super good fighting mount. Oh, like you can mount on them and they kill everyone. But they're also hard to kill. Or very... But they're very slow. Actually, no, that would be easy to kill, right? Yo! That was actually super good. I've never done it that well. Okay. I'm definitely getting a better hang of it. Damn it. Claw Strider are super slow, super hard to kill, and very good fighters. Ooh. Very hard to mount as well, yeah? I'm assuming. Medal of Honor's not working. Aw. You might have to go to Battlefield then. Battleship, I almost said. They're easy to mount when you have them unlocked. Oh, okay. It's easy to bait them in. You have to bait them, right? If I remember correctly. Black Ops 2? Do it. Play Black Ops 2. I just run and slide to them. Oh, that's sick. That must feel cool. Why am I screwing this up so much now? I thought I had it. Let's go. 1. 2. Damn it. There is to mount when you have to unlock. So I'm thinking I just run and slide to them. Kind of late, but the meh form of Sameru is awaken, not memorized. That's right. Thank you for. Did you look that up or you remembered that from your studies? Bro, your Japanese is better than mine now. Sheesh. I forgot about Sameru. It's just usually you don't hear Sameru, or I don't hear it. I don't know. Sameru just... I just forgot it. Let's go. 1. Okay, I'm getting it much more frequently. I have to go more forward, I think. Maybe. Why am I screwing it up so much? Na, na, na. Wait, I only knew that kanji as memorized too. No, I knew it as Sameru. I never really used that or studied it much. I studied it a bit, but it's something that you're not gonna use much, so you're probably gonna forget. I thought it was the meh form, so I looked up what form that was. Gotcha. Let's go. Damn it. Damn it. Free download Medal of Honor only because the campaign is small. The main game I want to play is Devil May Cry. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of people like that game. Time to eat breakfast. Enjoy! Only gets better. You're so fucking special. Oh, never mind. So fucking special. And I'm a creep. I'm a widow. Oh, it feels so good, and I keep missing it. That's what she said. I don't belong here. Huh? Body. Okay, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna do it now. I know what I'm doing wrong. Let's go! I actually said it and it came true. I didn't go left enough. And there I didn't go straight enough. And there I didn't go straight enough. And there I didn't go straight enough. Zana creep. I'm a widow. Damn it. I was like, maybe I'll get it 3 times in a row. I don't belong here. Let's go. Let's go. Twice in a row. Damn it. I can't get the 3rd time. Now I'm just playing terrible. Guys, my hand hurts. My hand is shaking. Yeah. You see I don't know if you could see it shaking. Oh my god, bro. Jesus. Oh, I know my breath sticks. Cut it off. Maybe I will. I'm a widow. Here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'm a creep. I'm a widow. Let's do it. Let's do it. One try. Gotta do it 3 times in a row to do an actual run. This is My Hero Academy as well. Alright, guys. I'm feeling really tired. Should I be a loser and end stream? Nah, I shouldn't do that, right? Bruh. Come on. That was almost good. Ooh, I got it. Damn it. I'm starting to like understand exactly how to do this. After how many hours of practice? Jesus. Let's go. 1. You gotta move a certain way so he backflips there. How are you gonna get a sub 25 days? You're out here with the 2659. True. Why does it show that? 2259, baby. Best possible time 2044. If I master this, save 20 seconds. I might be wasting time on this. I mean, I've gotten much better at it, but there might be just like simple movements tricks that I could learn. I'm so tired of doing this trick. How does that not? I didn't go forward enough, probably. There we go. Yo, bomb clip feels harder than this, to be honest. Like I got it twice in a row. I'm gonna get it a 3rd time. Let's go! 3 times in a row. Okay, 3 times. I'll do it. I'll take it. Pulling off bomb clip in a run could be a huge early game confidence boost. Yes, very true. That's why I was practicing it as well. The problem is, if I PB with bomb clip and Lakitu skip, that means that everything else until the next PB is gonna be the opposite of a confidence boost, right? Because everything after that is gonna be it's gonna be very hard to do that again. Assuming I get bomb clip often. Assuming I don't get it often, I mean. Because then it would always be blue. But for the next PB, if I got a bomb clip PB, it would definitely be a confidence boost. Okay, if I get it 3 times in a row, we're gonna do a run. I want to try both tricks in a run. Okay, nope. Okay. Ooh. I've actually gotten better. Kind of crazy. Okay, let's see if I could get it 2 more times in a row. Nope. Maybe just getting it twice would be nice for now. Nah, but 3 times for a run, though, because I want to try it on a run. Ooh. That would actually be probably the best bomb clip. As long as the stupid machine thing, it doesn't kill me. How's the big city, do you know? Okay, that was bad. That was even worse. But that can happen in a run. Oh, I didn't turn around fast enough. Oh my god. Jesus. I want to see sub 20 for best possible. Yo, I'm getting this like 40 to 50% of the time. Pretty good. Ow. But if I could get sub 20 by the end of today with splits, that would be great. I would have to say 44 seconds though, which is insane. I could save like 30 if I get bomb clip and I do bits perfectly. But Jesus, that's a lot of seconds. I need to learn movement. I don't know. I don't know what I need to learn. Come on. Nice. Nice, pink. Come on, that should be good momentum. Shit. What other major time save tricks are there? There's a lot. But ones that I've been practicing, I don't think any. I do think I could, if I get these two perfectly though, I could improve on my movement, and that might just give me the dub. Just general movement, long jumping more often. Bit DW. I guess in bit DW, if I do bit, I think bit DW is probably my biggest time save, just by movement. Where is it? Oh, they call it Bowser 1 and 2 here. Oh, here. Bit DW. I think if I could do this perfectly. Whoa, that was lucky. There's time save here that I don't do. But that one I don't care about learning. Because it's not gonna save much time and I already got used to doing it my way. This I'm really bad at. I don't know why I'm bad at it. I have to figure out a way to get this. There's definitely some time saves to be had here. Yeah. Like, long jumping a lot more often, not getting hit by these bombs. Like, just long jumping my whole way. Or not even long jumping, but like, you know, just moving would be so much better. Like, Jesus, that's so frustrating to screw up all the time. I was doing it okay before. I mean, I might as well practice this whole thing. It's so easy to die here, too. Oh, my God. If you do 2 long jumps, you could get that, like that. And then you could do this. Now, traveling to this side is a time save that I don't know how to do and I never do. And then I know people do that. I don't know exactly how they do it, but I think they'd like dive into it. That's probably some time saves. And then you're supposed to long jump here. I don't know how to hold the momentum there. And you're supposed to long jump somewhere like here. And it clips through. Kind of. See, I want to do that. Wall jumping it is better, but ugh, I lost my momentum. See, like that. Clipping that's how you're supposed to do that. But it's so risky to me. And here jumping from here, long jumping from here would be a time save. But I'm always kind of too scared to do that. Scared that I'd fall. And then doing this is a time save. But obviously I fall there a lot. And then there's one other trick around there. So I could improve on that stuff. Just general movement. Alright, well. That usually makes it onto a platform. I think I could just do this. I gotta be less scared here. But it's a very scary, like look, if I move like this, that would be insane. Jesus. Right? But I don't move like that. It's way too scary. I think I'll be forced to move like that at a certain point to get a PB. I just gotta take a bunch more risks. Na, 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 na. Well, that was bad. I don't know what they do there. I like doing this when I do it well. I think they roll like this. They roll into it, but I can't even roll. Come on. I think they roll into it like that or something. We're just not gonna do that though. I don't think I lose that much time. Ooh, that's a good way to recover it actually. Also, a lot of people go for this one first and then they go for the other one. Which makes sense, but I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Could do that. Damn it. I wish there was an easy way to just... Well, if you time it perfectly... The pros time it in a way that they always get on the first cycle or whatever, right? That's probably how you get better. By doing it on cycles. Like that one way that I did it amazingly before somehow. That's probably a cycle. And then jump. You know what? Okay. I'm so tired, guys. Oh, I'm tired. I think I might end there. My hands actually hurt a lot, and I'm feeling tired. But we're gonna raid someone today. We haven't raided someone in a while. I feel like Rosemary raids us. But we're not playing Pokemon right now. I guess we'll raid him. Thanks for watching, guys. My Spotify is not open, so I'm a dumbass. Watching, guys. Thanks everyone for everything. Ooh, 2 whole people. Crazy raid over here. So tired.
Cool flex, man.
Bye, doctor. Maybe I'll cancel the raid. I would feel bad if it's like one person rating, so I'm
Yeah,
just
I
gonna
forgot you
cancel
could go
it.
back to the website.
Have a great night and
She's waiting for the moment. She could flex her word.
good night. See you next time.